All right, so let's review the last challenge of the bootcamp. So that is JavaScript Advanced. So question number one has all unique, all unique. Interesting. So that question wants to check whether all the characters in that string are unique or not. So for instance, on the first use case scenario, we should return false because, well, that's case insensitive. So big A is considered the same as small a. Okay, that's why it returns false, because A is duplicated. In the second use case scenario, we returns true because these characters are unique, and on the last use case scenario, we return false because the plus symbol is duplicated. Do you understand the question, guys? Wait. Vicky. Follow case insensitive approach. So that means that if you have A twice, regardless of whether one is written in big character or in small one, that's considered the same character. All right, guys. So first of all, let's talk about the argument. So that's a string, and that's actually very simple. With set, we can solve the problem very easily. The only concern here is, yeah, it's case insensitive. Yeah, that's the only thing we should look after. So let me create another variable called lowercase string, for instance. Which the only thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transform everything to lowercase, and then look at what I'm doing here. I'm gonna transform that string. You see, remember guys, dot, and then square brackets. Can anyone tell me what that expression is doing? Yeah, the spread operator. So if the string is correct, so that's gonna return eventually, yes, because we're using the square bracket, so that's gonna return something like that, H, and then I. So look, I'm gonna check if the size of that array is the same as, look at that. So using new set, actually, let me do something. Rather than creating a variable called lowercase string, let me rename it to lowercase string. No, actually, we can leave it like that. So I'm just thinking, right, different approaches. I think it's okay to leave it like that. So that's just the string, yeah? So look, with new set, we can pass a string. And that will create a new set, which is a data structure in JavaScript, only with the unique characters. Yeah? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna spread the new set. I'm gonna transform it into an array again. So that's gonna give me an array of unique characters. So then once I got an array of unique characters, the only thing I need to do is something like that. Yeah? If the size of the original array is the same as the size of the new array without any duplicates, that means all the characters are unique. What do you think? Let's see if it works. Yes, correct, that works. So you see how simple the problem is combining set and the spread operator. With the spread operator, we transform a string into an array. With set, we remove the duplicates. Do you know, guys, any different way of solving the problem without using the spread operator? No, that's fine, Vicky, that's fine. Let's try to use a split. So, for instance, here we could use dot split, yeah? But what about here? I don't think we can use a split here that easily, right? So can you repeat that again, Vicky? So you want to move that where? Here? I'm not following you, Vicky. Vicky. Where, Vicky? Here? Vicky, no, Vicky, wait, listen. It is important to communicate, right? If you're trying to tell me something and I'm not following you, either you have a problem or I have a problem. So it's very important to practice the communication skills, right? So you got an idea, fantastic, but let's elaborate that. You need to give me precise instructions about what do you want me to do, right? So that's what I want. And then what do you want me to do? All right. If, yeah, Elena, yeah. Interesting. So do you want to do something like that? In line 5. All right, line 5, line 5, line 5. So do you want to do something like that? That's a good question. What do you want me to remove, Elena? So the thing is, if I run that code is correct. First of all, we are transforming a string into an array using a split. Yeah? So that's going to give me the array of individual characters. And then here we are doing the same thing. However, what's the point, guys? What's the point of transforming the string into an array? There is no point because set can do that automatically. Yeah. So when you do new set of, so for instance, A and B, that's gonna return a set with A and B. Okay? So for instance, if I got also C, no, B, A again, for instance, because A is duplicated, it's gonna ignore it. Yeah. However, if I do new set of ABA, that's gonna return literally the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, correct. So remember, guys, that strings and arrays have many similarities because both data structures are enumerable. We can enumerate the elements. That's the first element, index 0. That's the second element, index 1. That's the third element, index 2. That's the first element of the string, index 0. That's the second element, index 1. That's the third one, index 2. Yeah, because we can enumerate the properties. That means that we can take advantage of that. And there are many operations we can run in JavaScript regardless of whether we are playing with strings or arrays. Yeah? So of course you can get that, and then you can transform it to an array, and then you'll get that. But that's a bit unnecessary because new set will understand how to deal with the string correctly. Yeah. So yeah, we can do that. Also remember, do you remember, guys, array from? So you can do that to create an array out of a string. And I believe you should be able to do the same thing here, using array from here as well. You see, it works. So we can solve the problem using the rest, either the rest operator, split, or array.from. Any questions? Anyone else? Elena? Yeah, yeah. Do you guys, if I ask you, Job interview question. Tell me about similarities between strings and arrays. So can you tell me about methods and operations you can run on both strings and arrays? So for instance, you can spread them. That's a similarity. You can use length with one. Yeah. What else? Slice. Can you slice a string? Yes, you can. That's actually right, Elena. Yes, brilliant. Yes, you can slice an array and you can slice a string. What else? I don't know, Maxim. Can you do? Can you do that, Maxim? That doesn't make sense, right? So no, that's not a similarity. You can ask the indexes, of course, yeah? Like 0, 1, 2, 3, yeah, fantastic, that's another similarity. And that essentially, all right, so one more before moving on. So guys, how do you check if something contains something else? How do you do that in JavaScript? Correct, Vicky. Includes, yeah? Includes works both with strings and arrays. So in other words, I can do imagine that I want to check if a character is a vowel. So I can do A, E, I, O, U dot includes my character. That's fine. Or even simpler, I can do that. Even simpler, yeah? And all these similarities are there because of a reason. Or the similarities apply because both strings and arrays are enumerable. So any operation with enumerable data structure, getting the indexes, slicing, getting the length, yeah, no, these operations at the end play with numbers, yeah? Length, that's a number. Slice, plays with number. Index acts as a number. So all these operations work really well because both strings and arrays are enumerable. Anything else? Cool. Nice. What, by the way, out of curiosity, so what did you do here? Let me zoom the screen a bit. Let me see your code. So first of all, oh god, that's very large, right? So let me try to find a good balance. Yeah, maybe like that. It should be readable enough. No, I need to bring it back. Sorry guys, it's a bit difficult to find the right resolution. All right, so let me zoom it. So you see, Elena, she's done pretty much the same thing. Lauren, look, indentation, right? This type of things, you know, I think we should look after these things. Also, she's doing something a bit strange here because she's actually removing the spaces. I'm not sure if the exercise is asking you to ignore the spaces. I'm not sure about that. Yeah. Look at what Max did. That's very interesting. That's very nice. That's very nice. You see, guys, with new set, you got the size. So you don't even have to transform set into an array to get the length. That's even smarter than what I did, right? That's fantastic. That's fantastic. With dot size, you can get the length, how many elements set has, right? And that simplifies the structure a bit. And then he doesn't need to transform the original string into lowercase, because the thing is, we just need to do it on the set, right? While getting the duplicate. So that's actually very smart. I like that. Yeah, and that's pretty much it, I believe. So unless guys, you got any further questions, can we move to the next one? All right. So question number 2: combine words. Combine words. That was a bit tricky, right? So you got two strings, and we want to join them, which is easy, right? We want to concatenate them. However, we want to change the case. So if we got small c, we want to transform into big C, that's okay. But the main issue is we want to remove the duplicates. Yeah? So for instance, O on coding is there, we change the case, no problem at all. And then look, rocks, you see? So O is listed again, but we are not going to display it again. So in other words, we're just going to display characters once. As you can imagine, set is going to be your friend here. So let's talk about variable names, so string 1, string 2. So essentially, I'm going to create a new set. And I want to combine string 1 with string 2. So new set will remove the duplicates, and because I want an array out of that, you see, I can spread it, new set. So what that will give me is an array of individual characters. Eventually, I want to join them all because I want a string back, and finally, I want to change the case. So what I can do here is, because I got an array of individual characters, I can use .map to transform the case. So look, I'm going to create a function called transform case. So now, as part of that function transform case, it receives a character, and what it does essentially is return if character equal character dot to uppercase. Then what, guys? Correct, return the opposite. Return character dot to lower case. That's correct, Vicky. And else, the other way around, right? So you're gonna put and, that doesn't make sense here, Vicky, because if you put and, all right, cool. And. Like that. All right, so what happened, Vicky, if the character is written in uppercase? Are we transforming it? So if it's uppercase, yes, we transform it to lowercase. Now what happened if it's lowercase? Are we transforming it to capital case? Look, correct. We need to look after both scenarios. Yeah? So let's recap. We built an array with all the individual characters. Then, yeah, we keep the unique ones. We transform it into an array. Once we got the array, we transform the case, and we join everything to have eventually a string. What do you think, guys? Is that going to work? Correct. Yeah. All right. Sorry. That was a typo, right? Return instead of new, of course. Yeah. Cool. Let's see if it works, guys. Nice. It does work. And now I get the question for you. Is there a way to solve that problem without or rephrasing that piece of code? I don't want to use the spread operator because of whatever reason here. Concat. Can you use concat with strings, guys? Maybe, yeah, let's try. String 1. Yes, you're right. We can concat two strings like that. Also, something you can do is, if you want to concat, if you want to play with the strings, that's a good idea, Vicky. Also, if you want to play with the strings, we can do a simple string 1 plus string 2, right? So that will concatenate two strings. And again, because set can easily work with arrays, but also with the strings, so we don't really need to transform the data to an array before using set. We don't have to. Yeah? And can anyone tell me how to solve the problem without using the spread operator at all? That's correct, Vicky. Array from. That works. Any questions? You see, guys, it's not that complicated. You see, all of that is because of set. Without set, I'll have a look in a minute to what you did. Yeah, so that's what I want to say. So without set is much more complicated because you need to loop and you need to, you know, it's much more complicated. Well, let's see if any of you actually use or solve the problem without using set. So that was question number 2. Actually, yes, Elena. Yeah, that's fine. The thing is, Elena, you know what Elena has proved here? She has proved resilience. She didn't know how to solve the problem using set. However, she found an alternative, and that's great. That's valuable. Yeah, because you won't always have the perfect approach in your head. So it's good that if you don't have the perfect approach, at least you have an alternative. Yeah? So I appreciate these things. What else? Lauren, actually, she did pretty much the same thing. She transformed to an array. And then eventually she used switch, right? So very, very similar solution. And finally, Max, pretty much the same thing. You see, Max, the way he's combining strings. So yeah, pretty much the same thing. Any questions, guys? All right, so we do, I mean, we did already question number 3. You remember, guys? If you don't know how to solve the problem, please check. I think we solved that on Tuesday, actually, yeah, on the last challenge. So I'm gonna skip it. And now, question number 4. That was simple. That was quite simple, actually. Get the biggest difference. So we have a list of strings representing numbers. Can you tell me how many arguments that function receives? You don't know, correct. So we need to gather them all using the rest operator, right? So function get biggest difference. So I'm gonna gather them all. Spread operator, yeah. Guys, be careful. Don't call it spread operator, Maxime, because we are not spreading anything. Remember that's the rest. And rest works in 2 ways. Spreading and what's the other one? Gathering. And here we are gathering. Yeah. So we gather all the arguments, and then look. First of all, numbers. If you know me a bit, you can guess that I'm not gonna call it numbers because is that an array of numbers? What we got instead? An array of what? Of what? Strings. That's correct. Strings. Yeah, of course, they are numbers in reality, but technically speaking, the data type we're dealing with is string. Yeah, and you know we may be able to solve the problem just using strings. However, you know I'm not a big fan. I presented you on Tuesday the reasons why I'm not a big fan of running math operations with strings because they will work in some cases. So, for instance, 3 minus 1, that's gonna be okay. However, that's, let me show you. That's not gonna be okay. Can anyone tell me what's that gonna return? That's correct. That's gonna return true because alphabetically speaking, 13 is less than 2. But from a mathematical point of view, that doesn't make any sense. 13 is greater than 2. That's why we need to be careful, yeah, when playing with numbers represented by strings. All right, so anyway, so we got that. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'll do something. I'm not sure if I can return that or not yet. I'm gonna transform that into an array of numbers. Yeah, just number. So then I'll get an array of numbers. And once I get an array of numbers, I'm gonna sort it. So I got number A or number 1 and number B or number 2. And then the only thing I'm gonna do is number A minus number B. Can anyone tell me whether that's gonna sort the array ascendingly or descendingly? Why ascendingly, Vicky? we got A minus B. If, remember, if A goes first, that's sort the array ascendingly, right? And the technical reason is if that returns a negative number, that means B is greater than A. So if it returns a negative number, JavaScript will keep the order. A first and then B. If, however, that returns a positive number, JavaScript will switch the elements. Yeah? If it returns a positive number, that means A is greater than B, and it will put B first, in which case the array will be sorted ascendingly. All right, so we got the array sorted ascendingly. So let me create a variable called let's sorted numbers, for instance. And now, once we got that, look at what I'm going to do next. So let min number. Can anyone tell me how to access the min number of that list? Math.min. Oh, actually, that's interesting, Vicky. That's interesting. The thing is, okay, wait a minute. That's a completely different way of solving the problem. We can do that if you want, but the thing is, if we are sorting the array, there is no point of using math.min. That's interesting. We can solve the problem using math.min later on. But for now, I don't want to use math.min. Or wrong? Easier than that? That's correct. If the list of numbers is sorted, the minimum one will be the first one, right? And on the other way around, max number, like that. Like that. You see, Vicky, you struggle to communicate because your instructions are not precise enough. Not in JavaScript. That will work in Python, but not in JavaScript. Go for what, Vicky? I want you, but I want you to tell me how to do it because I know you know how to do it. But the thing is, Vicky, you have something sorted, which is your ability to write code. That's complicated, and you have demonstrated that you can write code, and that's fantastic. However, now you got a different problem. And the problem you got is you are unable to communicate. And again, guys, don't forget that you, at some point in the job interview, you're gonna have to explain what you've done. And even if you have written something really cool, nice, performant, readable, blah, 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 if you struggle to communicate, you're going to have a problem. Yeah, because eventually, thing is, if you are communicating to a senior developer, just with few words, he or she will understand your message. But it's just a matter of time that you'll have to tell a bunch of things, a bunch of steps to someone less experienced than you. It's just a matter of time. And if you struggle to communicate, that person is not going to understand anything, right? So it is important. It is important to really prove that you have the ability to express, right? In here, what we want to do is we want to access the last element of the array. So to access the last element of the array, we do dot length, array name dot length, and that will give you the size of the array. Because arrays start at 0 index, we need to subtract 1, and that will give us the last element of the array. So we got two numbers, and what we got is the difference. Yeah? So for instance, in this use case scenario, the min number is 1, the max number is 7, the difference between min and max is 6. So what we can do is something like that. Return max number minus min number. And then what do you think, guys? Is that going to work? That's correct. That's correct, Vicky. That's correct. That's going to return a number. However, we're going to return a string. And then if we run it, oh, I did something wrong. So look, guys, syntax error, missing parentheses, right? So when I got that, that happens often. my eyes go directly to when I open multiple parentheses. So look, I open 2 parentheses, and here I forgot to close it here as Maxim said on line number 4. Yeah, that's okay, and then you can see it works. Interesting indeed. Any questions? All right, so now Vicky said something interesting before. She was wondering whether we could use math.min or math.max. So let's solve the problem again using a different technique. Look, to get the min number, what I can do is math.min, list of numbers, and likewise to get the maximum number, I can do math.max, and then the list of numbers. What do you think, guys? Is that gonna work? Are you sure? That's correct. That's correct. Math.min and math.max work with a comma-separated list of numbers. Is sorted numbers a comma-separated list of numbers? What type of data sorted numbers is, guys? Actually, we shouldn't call it sorted numbers because that's correct, Maxime. It's an array. Does math.min and math.max work with arrays, guys? No. So how can we transform the array into a proper comma-separated list of values? With what? No, easier than that. No, easier than that. Spread. Fantastic. Elena got the job, right? You see? And I like that. I think the code is even nicer now, right? You see, someone may argue, that's not super performant because blah blah blah. Okay, fair enough. But again, guys, I'm not gonna play that game. Yeah. If the algorithm is very simple like this one, you know the scale, the size of your data, then there is no point of trying to find something absolutely performant because that may play against readability. And I think, yep. Well, the thing is, we are running the same operation twice. We are transforming an array, an array into, we're splitting an array twice. Not sure, can we do that? So then we do it only once. Let's figure out. No, you can, that doesn't really make sense, right? No. So that doesn't make sense. So you need to do that just in time. And you're transforming an array into, you're splitting an array twice. Again, that's not the end of the world. Yeah, I'm not saying that's not performant. I say that some people may argue that may not be as performant, but I'm not even sure that's true or not, right? So I think that's just something that we can definitely consider valid. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Max. I think that's super readable. Yeah. Cool. Let me have a look to your code. Question number 4. 4. All right. So you see, Elena, math.min, math.max. That's pretty much the same thing that Lauren. Actually, everyone used max. No one sorted it, right? Okay, that's good. That's good. That's really nice. That's actually really nice. Cool. Don't forget, guys, that internally math.min and math.max, this is running some sort of sort operation, yeah, because we need to sort the array to determine what's the min and where is max, right? That's why I say that's maybe not that performant, because we are looping twice, first of all to get the min, first of all to get the max. So the cost of this algorithm is 2n, because we need to loop twice. If you use sort instead, the cost of the algorithm is n, because you iterate once. But again, that's not a big issue. I think if I were you, I would consider that option optimal, yeah, compared to the other one. Anything else, guys? No? All right, so let's do question number 5. I think that was the most complicated one, or maybe you just ran out of time. I'm not sure what the reasons are, but no one solved the problem. No. Really? That's weird. That's weird. Okay. In reality, yeah, I mean, I'm not going to care about whether I play with numbers, booleans. I'm not going to care, right? So I'm going to follow a wider strategy, or that's going to be my plan at least. So first of all, argument name, I'm going to call it object because, that's an object. I don't have any semantics, right, about if I play with players, actors, or whatever. So I'm just going to keep it simple, object. And now let me try to do something. I'm going to create a list of values. So to get the values out of that object, I can use object.values. Yep. And that will give me, in the first use case scenario, that will return an array of 1, 2, and 1, right? Because these are the values of the object. All right. So now, once I got that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort that list. Yeah. And the way I'm going to sort is by popularity. So I'm going to put the most popular values in front of the array, and then the rest, then the others. Yeah? I want to build something like that. And how can I build that? Well, I can use something like values.sort, and then I got value A and value B. And now, how do I check the popularity? Well, I'm going to create a new function called get popularity. I'm not sure if that's a good variable name or not. I'm going to compare popularity of value A versus get popularity of value B. Actually, on the other way around, because I want to put the most popular in front, right? So get popularity of value A versus get popularity of value B. How can we deal with that problem? Well, let's create a function get popularity of a value. And then the thing is, popularity where? Well, popularity in that list of values. Yeah, I want to see how many times each value, for instance, number 1, is listed in this array. In other words, I need to pass the list of values, yeah, the array. So imagine that value equals 1, and values equals 1, 3, and 1. What's the popularity associated to value 1, guys? 2, that's correct, because 2 is listed twice. And what's the popularity associated to number 3? 1, that's correct, because number 3 is listed once. Yeah. So I'm checking how popular. It means that we're checking how many followers you got on Instagram, something like that, right? So we need to count them all. Yeah. So how do we know, guys? Can anyone tell me an algorithm to determine how many times a number is listed in an array? Yes, we can use reduce. However, yeah, I can smell problems already based on that, Vicky. I think there is a much simpler way. Again, guys, you can solve the problem using reduce. That's fine. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. However, if there is a simpler way to solve the problem, then there is no point of using reduce. And that's a good example. There is a ternary operator. That feels random to me, Vicky. I no, that's ternary operator. What do you do? Okay, fine. Ternary operator. You tell me. No, well, that's the thing, Vicky. You need to be able to defend your arguments, right? Otherwise, you are just randomly, pronouncing techniques. Right? Ternary operator, if, else, reduce. No, it's fine. Nothing is wrong as far as you can barely defend your your technique. Yeah. Object to count. Object. Yes, that's fine. Definitely, Elena, you could do something like that. But there is a much simpler way to solve the problem. That's why I want you to think about that. So, no, 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 no. Look, I'll give you a hint. Filter. Can we check with filter how, yeah, if number 3 is part of that list? So look, I can do filter. All right, so for each value, given a value, whatever the value is, filter the values that are the one I'm looking for. Yeah. So if I got number 3 and I got that array, what's that gonna return? That's correct, an array with 3. And what happens if I pass number 1? What's that gonna return? That's correct, an array with 2 ones. If you got an array with number 3 or with 2 ones, can anyone figure out how to get the popularity of that number? That's correct. That's the length. That's it. That's much simpler than using reduce or map or any other thing, right? You get the number of instances of that number in the array, and then you just get the length, right? So that will return a number. So we're checking how many times one number is listed versus how many times another number is listed. That's it. That's it. And that will return, as I've stated here, something like that. Yeah, an array with sorted values. So I got an array of sorted values, but however, I want to remove the duplicates. So can you figure out, guys, how can we remove the duplicates in that list? Yeah, I got 1, 1, 2, and I want to get 1 and 2, removing the duplicates. So how can we do that? Why not? Why not, Vicky? Why can I do that? That's it. You have a list of values with some duplicates, fair enough. So with new set, you will remove the duplicates. So then the only thing you need to do is to transform the set into an array, and that's it. So you see, how can you solve the problem without using the spread operator? That's correct. Okay, array to from. And then it works. Questions? It's not that complicated. Yeah, all right. So now you know what to do next, right? You need to practice and to play again. The thing is, it is impossible to learn by just watching, right? I mean, if I want to learn how to play guitar, I can watch some tutorials on YouTube. But if I don't play guitar, that's never gonna work, right? So that's the same thing. Now you need to practice and to try to solve it. Yeah, I'm quite happy because most of the questions talk about how good you are dealing with set. We haven't talked much about set during the bootcamp, but you can see in some cases how convenient it is, right? And yeah, I mean, you see that you try to do many complicated things, but I hope you agree with me that the eventual solution, Elena, it always happens. It always happens. So yeah. Something I can recommend you to do is if you are playing with an algorithm and it doesn't work and it's just getting more and more complicated. If else, for loops, blah 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 blah. Start over, delete everything, and start again, right? Yeah, that's all. That's all I can tell you. All right, guys. Any final thoughts? Cool, fantastic. Let me know if you need any help. Apart from that, that was all from my side. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you later.